You guys, this is history. What you've done with the show.
You guys have built a platform that influences.
It's the world's most dangerous morning show.
Wake the up, Breakfast Club.
DJ Envy.
Envy playing my record, I made it.
Charlamagne the God.
The God will get you.
What made you think that you liking of controversial questions would take your part?
I like this show.
Breakfast Club.
This is my favorite show.
Wake that ass up. The Breakfast Club is on.
Good morning, USA.
Yo 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 yo.
Charlamagne the God.
Peace to the planet. It's Monday.
It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
That's right. And what I expect to see today is a bunch of people posting memes about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but instead of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., y'all are using Jonathan Majors. And I want all of those images of Jonathan Majors to be in black and white. Okay? That's what I need from y'all today.
All right. Well, of course, we're not in today, so today is a best of show. We're going to give you some of the best of material.
We just got back. We've only been back a week.
It's not our fault. It's a federal holiday.
Oh, I'm definitely taking Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay. All right. Well, keep it locked. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake it up. This is your time to get it off your chest.
Keep calling.
800-585-1051. We want to hear from you on the Breakfast Club.
Hello, who's this?
What's happening?
Yes.
Get it off your chest.
I can really like connection with y'all.
We out here.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I just want to get off my chest. It's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do to get to where you need to be. Hey, do what you gotta do. You know, people be trying to downplay 9 to 5. Like, it's not what's popping no more. But I just got off my 9 to 5. My 9 to 5 is getting me a crib. It's getting me a car. So yeah, people out there, do your thing with your 9 to 5.
I bet you making more money at your 9 to 5 than these so-called entrepreneurs are making that own their own businesses that don't have no boss.
That's facts.
No, for real. But hey, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you know it's working for you. Like, do what works for you. Everybody be seeing stuff on the internet, and they be like, "Ooh, let me do this." But you know, like I said, be your own person.
Do what works for you.
It's such a ridiculous narrative when people are ashamed to have a job nowadays. You know what I mean? Like one of the things that I've always encouraged people to do is, man, go to trade school, pick up a trade, because we need people out here that know how to do HVAC. We need people out here that know how to, be electricians. We need plumbers. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's the truth.
We need contractors. We need these people who know how to do things with their hands. And guess what? Y'all always gonna eat.
Yeah, no.
Always.
Think about it right now. It's wintertime, and who's probably one of the first people on the phone lines? The HVAC guy to make sure the heat works.
That's right.
The plumber to make sure that the pipes don't freeze.
That's right.
Or mechanics to make sure your car's running through the winter. So
positive.
I
gotta go get my oil changed today.
Okay.
All right. I'm literally going to go get my oil changed today. And guess what? I'll be having to get my oil changed every other month. Mm-hmm. So clearly, they always eating.
That's right. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, call us up right now. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
It's a new day.
This is your time to get it off your chest.
Wake up.
Whether you're mad or blessed.
It's time to get up and get something.
Call up now. 800-585-1051. We want to hear from you on the Breakfast Club.
Hello, who's this?
Top of the morning, Envy. What's cracking? It's Montana.
Montana, what's up? Where you calling from, brother?
I'm calling from the highway right now. I'm a truck driver. I'm crossing the Whitestone, but I just wanted to check in and say what's cracking to you and Uncle Charlotte, man.
Peace,
it
King.
was a long 3 weeks without y'all.
Oh man.
We back though. How you doing? How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling blessed, back in highly favor, Uncle Charlotte. I got a raise right before the new year.
Hey.
My kids are healthy.
That's right.
And I'm at work. I can't complain.
There you go.
There you go. Well, be safe out there. You in that truck now?
Yeah, man.
You know what I need.
And can I get a quick shout out?
Go ahead, brother.
Please. All right. We'll give a shout out to my daughter Princess, to my daughter Brooklyn, to my son Blake, and my oldest son Tyrell. I love you guys.
All right, brother. You have a good one. Be safe on that road.
Say that.
Hello, who's this?
This is Laura. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, Laura. Good morning. Get it off your chest.
I want to get off my chest about you asked about the gamers being home and how old your kids have to be.
Yeah, yesterday we had a topic of, at what age would you leave your kids home alone?
Yeah, 15 for me is a good age to leave home. It all depends on your kids. Mm-hmm. But as far as a gamer, definitely not 10. My son is 24. He plays in his room. He has on noise blocking headphones. He hears absolutely nothing. Yeah. The alarm goes off. He hears nothing. I have to go into his bedroom, flick his lights on and off for him to turn around to even notice I'm even in the house. I've been in the house for a whole hour. He doesn't even know I'm in there.
Yeah, that's what I said about my son. He don't hear nothing with them headphones on. You could be screaming his name. He don't hear nothing. You got to damn near
alarm.
Shake him and he get scared. But yeah, nah, I feel you. I agree with you, Mama.
Yeah, but
don't leave him home.
But by the way,
15 is good.
You say your child is 24. Ain't no goddamn kid. That's a grown ass man.
That's a grown ass man, right? And my 30-year-old will come over. Right, my 30-year-old will come and play with him too. They don't know. They have no idea I'm in the house. None. With those headphones on. Don't leave them home. None of them. I don't trust none of them. They'll burn your house down.
I just want you to know, Queen, if you can't trust the 24-year-old and the 30-year-old, then something happened along the way that you know.
Yeah,
you might want to reevaluate.
I don't trust them at all.
Damn it.
All right.
Y'all have a good one.
You too,
yes,
now.
ma'am. Don't call up here talking about your kids won't leave the house and he's talking about 24 and 30. Big grown ass kids.
She said, I can't leave my home alone. They 24 and 30. What
was the comedian saying when she was like, that penis too big to be in my house? He got to get a job. I said, well, who was that? The lady from Abbott Elementary? I can't remember the sister name. She's funny as hell, though.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Next guest is an American comedian, actor, and radio host. He is best known as the cast member of the Comedy Central sketch comedy TV series Ciofalo Show.
Is that how he's best known?
You also might have seen him on The Wire and even did a little stint in Spider-Man.
No. Why
Donell
your energy
Rawlings
changing?
was born in Washington,
Why is your
D.C.
energy changing?
He grew up in Alexandria,
Why is your
Virginia.
energy changing?
Rawlings
Why are you a
served in the United
journalist
States
now?
Air Force.
I don't
he
need
was
to bio,
stationed in South
son.
Korea.
People know who I am, son.
Ladies and gentlemen, you might know him from The Chappelle Show and other works like The Corner, Guy Code, Guy Court, and again, like I said, he was even in
Is this
Spider-Man.
the new Envy?
Ladies and gentlemen,
is this the new
boys
Envy?
and girls,
I think they cloned him.
Is this a new Envy?
We bring to you Donell Rawlings.
I don't want that one. Morning, everybody.
Welcome, Donell. How are you feeling today?
How are you, sir?
Pretty good today. Good to see you. I love your Red Sox. Your Red
Thank
Sox
you, sir.
brought a little.
Well, if y'all don't know, that's what it is.
That's right.
Take a look at it. That's the new Donell.
Nice suit.
Thank you, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Good fellas.
Still spiffy.
DILF. And if people don't know what the acronym is, it's for Dedicated, Involved, Loving Father.
I know.
And one of y'all reported me on Instagram. Somebody reported me. It was either you or you. Because I posted a picture. I posted a meme, which I always do. I posted a meme, and it was weird because usually when I post memes to disrespect y'all, it goes ham. And this meme, get a close-up on this. This one right here. And this was just...
Oh, I saw that one.
Right. It got 5 comments, 5 likes.
And what happened?
One of y'all reported me for abuse.
Wasn't me.
Yes, it was. Envy, did you do that?
You reported that.
You reported me.
I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of mad that you took my face out of my picture and put it on the women's picture, and then you put him on my face.
The only reason is complexion.
You know who the top is?
They got light skin. This picture got light skin legs, so it fits. It fits you. That wouldn't have went for Charlamagne, son. Look at that. It got light skin legs.
You know what? I was actually wondering why that picture didn't go far, but I didn't report. I don't care.
Yes, you did. I know you did. You did that.
I didn't.
It really got deleted for real. Let me look and see,
I deleted it because I was like, it's not getting the engagement that I want.
Is that why you wore your lawyer suit today, man?
No, this is not my lawyer suit. And black people, we have more than one suit. No, I got more. As soon as I wear a suit, people like this. You got caught? You all right? Somebody getting married? No, I'm just trying. This is a new day. It's a new dawn. It's a new life, and I'm feeling good. This is my new thing. Yeah.
Can we start this over? How are you doing? We have Donell Rawlings in the building. Good morning, Donell.
I was so excited to come up here. Everybody was like, get him. I didn't want to do it because there's too much beef out here in these streets.
Can you tell me about your comedy show, please?
The comedy show I'm doing the New York Comedy Festival this weekend. Right? It's 9th through 11th. But bigger than that, on the 10th, I'm taping my Netflix special produced by Dave Chappelle. So
I'm coming, son.
I'm excited about that. Pause.
I'm coming.
I want to hear that. Pause.
I'm coming to the show.
It's gonna be. I'm excited about it. I did it. I spoke about this before on this platform. I did it before. For some reason, we just said we're gonna shelve it and we're gonna can it. We want to start all over. When I did the first one, Dave said, Donell, you're funny, but just being funny does not make a great special. So this was 2 years ago. So I had to go back to the drawing board. Not reinvent myself, but say, okay, what's gonna make this special. So the stuff that I'm talking about is self-reflective of me.
Why did it take so long for you to finally get a special done now?
Because it wasn't the right time.
Okay.
As a performer or entertainer, and this is where people go crazy, when you try to compare yourself to what other people are doing and you see somebody else getting a certain amount of acknowledgement or whatever, you're like, why is it not me? And years ago, I felt that way. I said, it's not me because it's not the right time. You know?
And you doing it in New York?
I'm doing it in New York.
You're doing your special in New York?
I'm doing my special in New York at the Hard Rock Hotel. They got a beautiful ballroom space there. We're going to trick it out. Shout out to Ricky Hughes. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. Shout out to Stan Latham. But I'll just put it like this. It's just the right time.
But you're not like other comedians who go out there and have been doing the same material for years.
Right.
Every time I see you, you got different material.
Because for the most part, I'm a road comic, right? So if you're a road comic and you're going to these different places every year, people are going to be like, I'm sick of him doing the same thing. And I tell you, there's a lot of comics out here today that they just go for the money grab. I've heard, so I won't say any names, but I heard people like, oh man, I seen them, I see the same thing. But I always challenge myself to come up with different material to elevate. And like you said, a lot of people that come to my shows, they would agree with it. I'm always doing something different. That's why when Dave told me he wanted to do the special over, I could have been like, what are you talking about? It was funny. But this is the same guy that got over like 4 Grammys, Emmys. So if I'm going to take advice from anybody, I'm going to take it for him. And his words were, Donell, I can put you in front of a room and you'll rip it. Doesn't make it a great special. But I think where I'm at now with my stand-up, like I say, it's reflective of me. It's my life. I'm talking about stuff that people can relate to. Co-parenting. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, and I know this is your favorite, I'm talking about mental health. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about stuff that people can relate to, and I think this go around, it's going to pop.
You changed a little bit, because at one time
I'm supposed to change. We all change.
Charlamagne
you should change too, Envy.
You didn't think Charlamagne was serious when it came about mental health, but now you believe it. Because one time
I knew he was always serious about it. I was just sick of it.
Oh.
I was just like, because I came up from a place, I did not understand mental health and the issues, and it was a stigma. And I got to say, you have done a great job of exposing that and letting people feel comfortable to really talk about it. Because I grew up in an era where we didn't understand any of that. What we needed to do, fix it. Oh, just get a shot of Hennessy.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Smoke a joint. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Blow a load or whatever. That's how we dealt with it. So I do agree with you, but now I think people being abusive with it now. You can't have a conversation without it triggering some type of mental thing. You're gaslighting me. You respect my boundaries. My baby mother hit me with a new joint the other day. You would know this, triangulation.
Triangulation.
It's another mental health word. This mental health word she hit me with was so good.
What was the context?
An argument.
Okay.
She was like, oh, that's I don't know what it is. You mental, yeah. But it was so good. 3 days later, I called her and said, what was that new mental health word you gave me? So I do understand that, but I think people lean on it and just make excuses for stuff. And I think that, sometimes people gotta toughen up a little bit.
Triangulation is when a toxic or manipulative person,
God damn,
often a person with strong narcissistic traits, brings a third person into their relationship in order to remain in control.
Right.
There will be limited and no communication between the two triangulated individuals except through the manipulator.
Oh, we talk about words?
Are you gaslighting me now?
No, I'm not gaslighting.
Do you care about my mental health?
Okay, what about this? Delusional?
Do you care about my mental health right now?
I do care about your mental health.
You're gaslighting me right now.
I'm not gaslighting.
I'm hurt.
All right. I'm not going to get into because I know y'all got a relationship, and Charlamagne, whatever you do, don't love bomb him. Do you know what love bombing is?
I do know what love
All right,
bombing
give us a definition of love bombing.
Love bombing, I forgot what it is. What's love bombing?
Look it up. You got a computer?
I do know what it is.
Love
I can't remember what the technical definition is.
You know who's not love bombing right now? And I want them to come together.
Who?
It's DJ Academic and Saucy Montana, whatever his name is. Yo, son, this is the craziest beef I've ever heard on the internet. I have never, ever heard of a she disrespecting the he and challenge him to a fight.
Yes, you have.
No, not like that.
Well, not yes, you have.
This she
is not is a he.
What?
Forget it. All right, we got more with Donell Rawlings when we come back. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Donell Rawlings. Charlamagne?
Because even with that clip you sent me, I did not know that was announcing your special. I didn't know it until you just said it just now. And I watched the clip.
I mean, you didn't watch the clip?
I did watch the clip.
But you know why? Because your brain wanted to hear something else.
Yeah, because I read the headline, so I'm expecting to hear something else. But I'm like,
clickbait.
I've seen this before. I feel like I've seen them do this in person.
Yeah, I mean,
you got rich, bitch. No,
but that was the whole clip. Get them in there, but we'll see. But I'm telling you, when I say I'm excited about taping this special, a comedian, most comedians like this, I want a special. And years ago, I felt stronger about me wanting a special. But when that didn't happen, and I kept grinding and I kept building my fan base, everything now it's like my fans wanted to happen.
Well, people do specials to have the type of career you've had.
Yeah. And you know, it's so funny you said that because I said, not being cocky, I said, I don't need a special. You know, like the last couple of years is probably the most money I've been making in my career. I'm showing difference in my attendance or whatever. And the thing that I like what I'm building now is that with that, you can never cancel me. You know what I'm saying? If I don't work for a network, if I'm not bonded to one thing, you can't cancel me because I got people that I've been building these relationships with for 30 years that are going to continue to come out. And right now, with the fact of me taping one before, me going again right now, I'm not excited about this because anything could happen. Anything could happen between now and me taping it. Then what do I have to fall back on? The fact that after 32 years of doing comedy, I could put my name on the marquee and people will still come out and check for me. And I'll tell you one thing, when they come see me, everybody says, I think he's one of the funniest comics to do it.
I tell you that all the time, but you don't believe me.
You just started it.
That is not true. I've been saying this for years.
You just started it.
It's a lie.
No, you just started. When I first came up here, you tried to compare everybody to me, and I was like this.
Not true. No. I say Donell is one of the funniest stand-ups on the planet. I said verbatim. I saw Donell on stage with Dave Chappelle, Marlon Wayans. Who else came out that night? I don't remember.
Rock?
Cedric the Entertainer, maybe?
Maybe.
This was a few years ago when y'all did Radio City.
Right.
And I said Donell was the funniest person on that stage.
That night. And it's not because I am the funniest. It's just that when I go up there, I just have a different energy. I've never phoned it in. Anytime I go on stage, and we're talking about hundreds of thousands of shows, every time I go on stage, I'm going up there to kill it. And it's not too many people that can say, I've had nights where it wasn't as good as other nights, but I mean, in regard to consistency, I think I'm one of, I know I'm one of the most consistent.
That's right.
We just did a show in Atlanta. It was one of Dave's arena shows. It was me, Marshall Brandon, Kevin Hart, and Dave, right? And I went up on stage, and it was just like bombs, right? And then when I get off stage, and you're looking at like Dave, multimillionaire, Kevin, multimillionaire, you know? But the praises they gave me and the respect that they gave me after that, you know, I'm like this, you know what, Donell? You doing something right. It's one thing to be accepted by your fans, but it's another thing to be accepted by your peers, especially the ones that are super successful. Because it's easy for somebody that's up here to look down at you and try to compare how much money they're making to you. But me and Kevin, we talked, he looked in my face, he said, Donell, man, I'm so proud of you. I've been following your journey, the brotherhood that you and Dave have. It was a very humbling experience because I remember me personally paying Kevin Hart $75 to do a show, $50 to do a show when he came from Philly, and when he was doing what a lot of black comics don't do. He was playing both sides, not just the black circuit, but he was playing the Main Street circuit, and I seen the work he put in, and he could easily be like, whatever, Donell, but it felt like back in the day, us sitting in the green room and having those conversations.
That's dope.
Yeah, you treat all stages like they're your own.
After 32 years, I still love doing it. Not just to make the money, but I love challenging myself. I love finding that new joke. And I'm telling you, if all goes well with this special, the material that I'm doing and what I'm about to do, I'm about to pop it. Because I really believe that comedy is about to make a flip. Last 4 or 5 years, everybody's, I can't say this. They're going to cancel me. I can't say this. Now you're starting to get watered down comics and people that are editing themselves before they even go up there. But I think with everything, there's a shift. And I think people are fed up with it. There's a lot of people that they don't subscribe to cancel culture, and I think it's gonna go back to, you know what, raw comedy. And I'm not saying like off-color comedy, just somebody speaking from their heart and what they feel.
I don't think y'all have ever stopped doing that though. I think the problem with the game now is everybody's trying to be edgy on purpose and it's fake.
Right.
Because everybody's like, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be the shocking president. It's not coming from a real place. Back in the day, even when we was doing it, it was shock, but we was just having a good time.
At the end of the day, what it is stop using gimmicks. Just be funny.
That's right.
When I first started, it was a thing like we knew it was gay comedians out there, but nobody wanted to say it. They wouldn't say that. They was like, oh, the crowd's going to look at me a certain way. And then, so when you had a comedian that went up there and said, I'm gay, it was like, oh. But now, some of the comics from certain communities, that's all they want to talk about.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
That's all they want to talk about. Don't talk about that. Just be funny. You know what I'm saying? I like you got to like comedians.
Don't be funny. Be funny.
Be funny.
Yeah.
And just be and stick to stuff that's true to you. But somebody told me a long time ago, and I was like, why these people don't do this? Why these people don't do that? And Big Tigger told me this. He said, Donell, everything you said, he said, that's what makes you special. And that's what I want to make special about this special, because there's a lot of people that get in specials, and I can watch them, and not to be critical of people, and I watch them like this. Oh, they just wanted to do an hour worth of material. They didn't have a beginning, middle, end. They just wanted to do that, and they wanted to clear the check. And to be quite honest, there's not too many things that are special about a special. But I want this one to be one where people quoting it, saying stuff back in the old day when Goonie Googled, that type of thing. Yeah. So I'm excited about it.
So what do we got to do Friday to be at the special, man? Is it open to the public?
It's not open to the public. If you go to my website, DonellRawlings.com, and then you'll see a list of my dates. It's the New York Comedy Festival,
November 10th.
November the 10th. But I'm promoting the entire week, a part of the New York Comedy Festival.
November 9th through the 11th.
November 9th through 11th. Thursday is my first show. Friday I got 2 shows which will be taped. Saturday I got 2 other shows. I'm very happy about this. You can go to nycomedyfestival.com and get tickets, or you can go to DonellRawlings.com and get tickets. And I think after I do this, it's time for me to take a vacation.
Okay.
All right, well, shout out to Donell for joining us. Make sure y'all check him out at the New York Comedy Festival. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Your mornings will never be the same. If y'all talking about it, you know we talking about it. It's topic time. Call 800-585-1051 to join into the discussion with The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Now, if you're just joining us, we were talking about something in Front Page News earlier today. It was the fact that Florida Board of Education approves new Black history standards that teach how slaves developed skills for their personal benefit. So we were talking about, since they're pulling pretty much Black history out of schools now and pulling out the books and don't want to teach Black history, what do we need to do as a community to make sure that our young kids actually know what went on in Black history and the future generation, and how do we educate them? That was the question that we were having this morning.
Well, like I said earlier, you can't depend on white institutions to teach our kids. That is something the Nation of Islam and other great Black leaders have been telling us since the beginning of time. For me, I feel like we just got to encourage our kids to read. We have to recommend books for them to read. I was blessed to have a mother who was a Jehovah's Witness and an English teacher. So, she kept the Bible in my face and Watchtowers and Awake. So that was the first literature I was exposed to. Then we had the Book It program when I was a kid in elementary school, and I was reading 4 books to get a free pizza. And my mom told me, read things that don't pertain to you. That's when I started reading Judy Blume and Beverly Cleary and all that stuff. And then my pops, he gave me books like the autobiography of Malcolm X, which led me down a rabbit hole of wanting to know everything I could about the NOI, but also any book that I saw Malcolm X reference, I read it, and I've always done that. If I read a book and then they reference another book in that book, then I'll go read, that book. That's why I thought, when somebody like Nipsey Hussle was alive, he was so brilliant because Nipsey would always reference different books in his interviews. Nipsey Hussle even had a book list that he put out, and I think that's what you have to do. You just got to encourage, our kids to read and recommend them things to read.
Yeah, I agree with you. I said earlier that I think we need to develop more programs, like even in the church, right? A lot of Black families go to church together and have those days where we teach about our Black history and Black heroes. But also, I think as parents, need to knowledge themselves. Because it's very difficult to teach your child if you don't have the proper history. It's like anything else. My father's a retired police officer. He was able to teach me laws when I was a kid and teach me about just things as far as, what to do if I get pulled over, what laws mean and how the judicial system works, because he was part of it. But like you said, I think we have to educate ourselves so we can actually educate our children, because there's a lot with Black history that I'm still learning now.
Same here.
Because I honestly wasn't taught as a child.
I envy people who've gone to African American studies. I mean, I love the way, somebody like an Amanda Seals can just reference history so quickly. Somebody like a Michael Eric Dyson. And we know the literacy rates in Black and brown communities are high. That's a whole other conversation. That's actually why Kevin Hart and I started our company with Audible SBH Productions, because I think that sometimes it's not that kids aren't reading, there's just other ways for them to get that information. So instead of reading nowadays, people are listening. So it's like I always had the idea of, even though we did put out, Finding Tamika and some of 85. Some of 85 is about, what happened, the MOVE organization in Philadelphia. But I always thought that kids could take in this information by listening. I lost my train of thought just now. How the hell I lost my train of thought like that?
Because you wasn't listening?
Oh, no, I was saying I think that kids can learn, more by listening now than actually picking up books and reading.
Yeah, and
I wanted celebrities. That's what I was gonna say. I wanted celebrities to do the audiobooks. Right? That was an idea we had when we launched this company. Have celebrities reading audiobooks.
Right.
And Audible kind of took the idea and they had Lawrence Fishburne read the autobiography of Malcolm X. But that's fine as long as it happens.
But you know what too, and I would also say this for a lot of parents. A lot of times we take our kids to on vacation. And vacation can mean many different things for many different people. It can mean taking them to Six Flags. It can mean taking them to Miami for Disney World or whatever. And I think sometimes, and that's fine, but we're going to have to think of alternative things to do.
Well,
like
you're talking about experiences.
Right, but like going to museums, like the museum that just opened up in South Carolina.
International African American Museum.
The one that's opened up in D.C. And even the one in South Carolina I want to go to because there's so much history, right? You learn that's where, that's where the first ships came that a lot of us, touched down on this land. So I would love to learn that history. I've been fortunate enough to go to Africa and fortunate enough to go to South Africa and see these different places that, from where Bob Marley was in Jamaica to where, I'm trying to think of some of the houses that we went to over there. So many different houses.
Even with that, and you're absolutely right what you're saying, but you're speaking from a person who has the financial means.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, instead of maybe going to Six Flags, going to the museum, and sometimes those museums, the prices are not that expensive. They're $10 for a ticket, and I'm sure a lot of times they do it for free just to teach our own. But just experiences like that we can actually see, touch, and get the proper knowledge.
And how about do something as simple as go get a library card?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Go get a library card and then go, look up some books to go get. I always tell people all the time, start with the autobiography of Malcolm X. There's a great book that I read when I was young called From N-Words to Gods by Akil. And the way that he wrote the book the way we actually talk. You know what I mean? So it was like he's cursing it and he's using street vernacular.
Yeah, right.
But he's educating at the same time. You know what I mean? Like everything don't have to be 18-letter Shakespearean words for you to learn.
Like I was able to go to Nelson Mandela's house. I was able to go to where Nelson Mandela grew up. So I was able to see it, but I had the means to do it. But before I had the means, my mom had me in those museums. But let's go to the phone lines. We got Jamisha on the line. Jamisha, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Jamisha.
Hey, DJ Envy and Charlamagne God. I want to first say that I love you guys and I listen to you guys every morning.
Thank you very much, Jamisha. We appreciate it.
Yes. So I just wanted to chime in and just give my advice. I am 37, just to give you guys an idea of where I'm coming from. I'm a mom of a preteen boy, and I try to just share stories with him because the literature out there is not very fun for the kids to read or interesting. So I feel like it starts at home. We as the parents have to be encouraged to learn it so that we can then simply verbally share those stories with our kids so that hopefully when they get older, they'll read those stories or watch those movies that we watched when we got older or sometimes when we were even younger and we didn't understand what was going on.
Totally agree.
Right.
So I agree that I just feel like it starts there.
Totally agree.
All right, thank you.
I totally agree. Starts in the house.
We have Diane on the line. Diane, good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Doing well. Talk to us. What's your thoughts, Mama?
Okay, well, good morning, first of all, to everyone of you. DJ and Charlamagne God. Lady Figaro, I just want to say good morning. But I myself, I'm a grandma, and my oldest child is older than you, Charlamagne God. But what happened is because of the climate, I'm retired, and I was faced with the opportunity to homeschool my 11 and 15-year-old grand. I've been doing this for a couple of years. We were registered through the Board of Ed in North Carolina. I'm from New York, but my family is from South Carolina. I took it upon myself to incorporate Black history as a subject.
That's right.
And I teach them. And we're in all the books. 1619 Black history is our social studies book. We do that. We talk about history. There's a link, blackfacts.com website, which gives you so much pertinent information in Black history. We talk about that. We're in the Quran. We're in the Bible. Your book, Shook One, We're just all over the place, but I make sure that they know the foundation. I also, because I've gone through something some years ago, I send out inspirations every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Used to be 1 or 2 people. It's now 150 people. And I do it one by one because I don't do group text. But what I do is I enlighten them on Black history. We not just for February, but for every month. And we talk about things, not just the normal things people would talk about, Martin Luther King, not that we don't talk about them, but we've gone into everything. We talk about the massacre. We talk about the history. So I do that. Growing up in New York, history was something that Black history we were a part of. There was a lot of feelings that there was a foundation of history, and we were kind of taught that in schools a little bit. But the rest, we lived. We grew up in that era. It's different now, and it's true. A lot of Black families don't know their history. A lot of them don't have time to teach their children. A lot of them do depend on the schools. But you have to be mindful and careful of what's going on in the schools. I was able to see during the pandemic how they were handling that, and they're not being taught. But you can't blame the parents because a lot of them don't know themselves.
You're right, Queen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
By the way, how old are you? How old are you as a grandma?
I'm close to 70.
Close to 70.
God bless
But I
you,
never
Mama.
thought I would be in this position to be doing this, but I embrace it. I love it.
We love
thank
it
you
too.
so
We're
much.
glad that God kept you here to be able to do it.
That's right, Mama.
Absolutely, absolutely. You all have a blessed day, and thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing.
Have a great weekend, Mama. Well, what's the moral of the story, man?
The moral of the story is what I said earlier. You can't rely on white institutions, to teach your kids Black history. You know what I mean? Like, you do have to do a lot of self-education at home, man. And I also want to say, please, let's stop repeating white propaganda talking points in regards to Black people. If we start having conversations about Black people self-educating and encouraging each other to read, please, folks, let's not start saying Black people can't read and Black parents don't teach their kids to read. That's nonsense, and that's not all the way accurate. You know what I'm saying? All these people who called up here, telling us how they teach their kids at home, the grandma who said she homeschooled her kids, taught them Black history, y'all give me a lot of hope. There's nothing dumb about us. There's nothing uneducated about us. Don't listen to these white propaganda talking points about us in regards to literacy. And please, don't repeat them. Man.
All right. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Stacey Lee Spratt. Welcome.
What's up?
How you feeling?
Listen, feeling good.
Director of the United Negro College Fund.
Yes, Empower Me Tour.
There you go.
That's right.
I feel like I've been hearing about the United Negro College Fund my whole life, but not that much in recent times. So,
really?
Yeah. So what does the United Negro College Fund do right now?
Listen, we've been around going on 80 years.
Yeah.
So that's why you've been hearing about it since you were little.
Mm-hmm.
But, we provide educational support for minority students.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Empower Me Tour, it's a traveling road show
Mm-hmm.
where we talk about college readiness, we talk about career readiness, and we give millions of dollars in scholarships
Mm-hmm.
for people to attend school, not just graduating high school seniors, but also people in college can still get scholarships through the UNCF.
I always wonder, are people as aware of resources like this as they need to be?
You know what? I feel like we can always do a better job of making sure people know that resources are there. UNCF is not just to get students to college. It's our responsibility to get students through college also. So with the resources are coming in all the time to UNCF. So I tell students and parents to visit uncf.org every other week because we have scholarships that pop up all throughout the month, all throughout the year. And to just know what is actually out there for students to attend college for free. I mean, education is expensive.
That's right. What are some of the qualifications to get some of these students in college?
You know what? It honestly depends on the type of scholarship there is. Some have 3.0 GPA qualifications. Some might even have 2.7 or your 3.5 and above. Some of them you have to write an essay. It really all depends on the type of scholarship that you're applying for. Like with the Empower Me Tour, we have counselors that come on site and give on-site admissions to students on the spot. Not just that, we have college admissions counselors offering full 4-year scholarships to students who didn't even know that they could attend college or could attend an HBCU. We really try to do the Empower Me Tour in places where there aren't HBCUs, so we can educate people that HBCUs exist and scholarships are available.
So this is only for HBCUs. You're only giving college.
Oh no, we give scholarship money to not just HBCUs. People can get a UNCF scholarship and attend any school of their choice. We just want to make sure people know in places and spaces that HBCUs exist.
What was so important for you to go to a HBCU? Of course, you went to Clark, Atlanta.
Well, of course I went to Clark, Atlanta.
Where you from?
You got to stop blushing.
I'm originally from Mississippi.
Oh, you from Mississippi?
Yeah.
So what made you?
Every time you hear Clark, you blush.
Listen, that's where my husband came from, so maybe that's,
Okay.
Shout out to
And my
DJ
husband
Drama.
at Clark, Atlanta.
DJ Drama went to Clark, Atlanta too.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
DJ Drama
Shout
went to
out
Clark, Atlanta. We were there around the same time. My parents went to Clark College. My brother went to Howard. My other brother went to Morehouse.
Wow.
We are an HBCU family. My business partners, went to Hampton, one, and the other one went to Clark, Atlanta. So it just fostered relationships, HBCUs, and just homecoming. There's no homecoming like an HBCU homecoming. Okay, so that's why I love it so.
What made you want to go? Was it instilled with your family, or is it?
It was instilled with my family. It was, again, I've been attending homecoming at Clark, Atlanta since I was 2 years old, because both my parents went there.
I gotcha.
And just watching the relationships that my parents had with other people from Clark Atlanta University, and those are my aunts and uncles, extended family, I just fell in love with it.
People don't talk about that aspect enough, the networking that happens at these HBCUs. What did you, or who did you meet that led you to end up being the director of the United Negro College Fund?
I mean, first of all, my father received a UNCF scholarship. So watching him talk about receiving a UNCF scholarship and watching him work at General Motors and then turn around and give back for other black and brown people and people at Clark Atlanta, Spelman and Morehouse to be engineers, and just watching that foster, I always had a loving relationship for UNCF. But it really is the networking. You have relationships with people. I do business with people that I went to school with. We still have those genuine relationships. You work with them. When you think about, okay, if I have an event taking place, I'm thinking about, well, who could I help that went to Clark Atlanta with me, or who, went to another HBCU. A lot of the work that I do, even in the events world, I provide opportunities for other HBCU graduates.
Well, what's some advice or tips you can give to help students apply for and receive scholarships from UNCF?
The first thing I would want them to do is to go to uncf.org and set up an account and check back there every other week, because again, scholarships pop up every day that we're offering. Again, if you're a graduating senior in high school, check it out, set up an account. If you are in college and looking for an internship, looking for scholarship opportunities, set up an account at uncf.org and just continue to check back. Make sure you have your resume, written out. Talk to someone that does resume building. It's so important. Make sure that you have your statement written out of why you want to even go to college, whatever college or university that is. So just being proactive and preparing yourself.
How early is too early? I know you said senior year, but sometimes senior year might be a little too late because you just don't necessarily know. So how early should parents should be looking into colleges, and same thing with students?
You can set up your account at uncf.org, as a freshman in high school.
Okay.
And start looking at different scholarships and looking for what is it that you need to apply for those certain types of scholarships. It's never too early to talk to students about scholarships, about financial aid. That is so important for parents and students to fill out that financial aid information. And I know the FAFSA has changed over, the course of this year. So it's making sure you fill out your FAFSA, set up that account at uncf.org. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can start talking to your kids about scholarships in, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. We need money for you to attend school.
Now, a lot of parents, I don't want to say have problems with scholarships, but have problems with scholarships because they get this scholarship to get their kid into school.
Right.
But now their kid is in school. They're a freshman. Now, what happens sophomore year? Are some of these scholarships 4-year scholarships, or are they just 1-year scholarship? You got to get in, then you're on your own.
Oh, no. So a lot of scholarships are 4-year renewable scholarships. As long as you continue to keep that GPA requirement, as long as you continue to keep whatever the requirements are for that scholarship. And it's so important to look and say, okay, is this scholarship renewable, for my student so they can plan accordingly. There are some scholarships that might be a one-time. So if you do get that scholarship that's one time, then you have to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, let me see about some scholarship money over here, over here, over here. You can also piecemeal it together. It doesn't all have to come from one place.
Gotcha. All right, we have more with Stacey Lee Spratt. She's the director of the United Negro College Fund. We'll talk to her some more when we come back. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Stacey Lee Spratt. She's the director of the United Negro College Fund. Charlamagne?
When you talk about certain requirements, and I didn't go to college, so forgive me for my stupidness. But is this scholarships that's like if you 5'6"?
You know what? There's a scholarship out there if you're left-handed.
That's what I'm saying.
It is scholarship money out there for everything you can think of, and I think that's the key to it. Mm-hmm. You have to look for scholarships that you might be thinking like, was a left-handed scholarship, but it's out there. There are scholarships for all things, whether you play sports, whether you don't play sports, whether you're majoring in STEM, whether you're majoring in marketing, even entrepreneurial scholarships. So it is scholarships available for everyone. It's doing the research, spending the time to do the research, being organized about where you're looking and what you're looking for.
I wonder why. Like why do they have a scholarship for like left-handed people?
Listen, I don't know because I didn't create that scholarship.
It might have been a left-handed billionaire that says, you know what, I just want to support other left-handed people out there.
Yeah.
You can come up with however you want to do, scholarships. When myself and Pinky Cole, we gave scholarship money for 30 graduating seniors at Clark Atlanta University. We had no rhyme or reason. Our reason was that they would not be able to graduate if they didn't pay that dollar amount. So sometimes you have people that just say, you know what, I want to make sure these students graduate. I don't care what their GPA is. It could be a 2.0. It doesn't matter. I want to make sure they get the money so they can walk across that stage.
2.0?
And that's what we did. Hey, we didn't care. Jesus. It didn't matter. You owed money, and we wanted to make sure that you were able to graduate in the spring, and so that's what we did.
My daddy said if I get a 2.0, I'm coming back to Queens.
Listen, you can graduate college still with a 2.0.
That's right.
And you graduate and thank you, Lottie, but you're graduating.
Man,
thank you, Lottie. I didn't go to college.
Thank you, Lottie, that I graduated.
Thank you, Lordy.
Thank you, Lordy. Lordy. You got to put some
southern on it. Thank you, Lordy. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Now, how can students prepare and pay for college, especially with the federal student aid deadline coming up?
Oh, yeah. The deadline is around the corner, so they need to apply. You must apply to see what you qualify for, what kind of scholarships you qualify for. Again, Google is your best friend. YouTube University is your best friend. Really look up what scholarships are available. But again, go to uncf.org because we have thousands of scholarships available. We give away millions of dollars. To date, UNCF has probably given out over $4 billion in educating young people.
Today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So for that day, are you guys doing something special for today or?
Well, Dr. Martin Luther King went to Morehouse College, but we're not doing anything in particular besides what we always do, which is provide an education for Black and brown and young people.
What are some benefits to going to an HBCU? Because my daughter's 15 now. And she's already talking about college. So what's the benefits of going to an HBCU versus a PWI?
I think for me, it's seeing people that look like you doing great things. It's again that community. It's a smaller classroom. It's also go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
What's the point of being a Delta?
What's the point of being a what?
Oh, wow. No, you word that different. No.
Wow.
What's the benefits of being
Don't let him talk to you like that. Don't let him talk to you like that.
What's the benefits?
He must have AKAs in his family.
Listen,
he must have Zetas in his family. Don't let him talk to you like that.
My mother-in-law is a Delta. You crazy. My mother-in-law is a Delta.
Like that, Stacey.
My wife's mother is a Delta.
What's the point of being a Delta?
Wow. I mean, what's the benefits?
Disrespectful.
Not the point. The benefits.
The benefits of being a Delta.
You let him talk to you like that?
Wow.
Look at the peanut gallery over here pumping it up. You see how people pump it up? Yes. Listen, being a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was one of the greatest decisions for me. They are my sisters, my line sisters, my big sisters, my little sisters. Again, I not only work with them, I love them. It is a sisterhood. I don't have sisters. I have two older brothers. I have a sissy that, is my cousin. But it is about the love. It's about the sisterhood. It's about the community. It's about giving back. So all of those things are what Delta encompasses.
Yeah, because I think about it, if you go to an HBCU, that's one level of sisterhood, right?
Absolutely.
And togetherness with your black
Yes.
people, but then you get pledged Delta, that's a whole other level.
Listen, a whole nother level of sisterhood and brotherhood. I mean, again, that HBCU camaraderie is a sisterhood and brotherhood in itself, whether you pledge something or not. And even pledging Delta, I still have AKAs that I so love. I mean, my publicist is an AKA. You know, it's okay. But, you know, it's still that love of fraternities and sororities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you.
Hold
for
on,
joining
she's
us.
also an entrepreneur.
That's right.
Harlem Hops, Beer, Booze, Bites, and Beach. B. Scott had bought us this before.
That's right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You want to talk about Harlem Hops?
Listen, Harlem Hops is a craft beer bar. It's in Harlem. We also just opened up a second location at Pier 57.
Wow.
So we have Harlem Hops, Chelsea also in the food hall where the Google building is.
Okay.
So that's our second location. And I mean, we are 100% African American owned, you know, first black owned craft beer bar in New York.
The reason I love this because it shows that, you know, what you do at the United Negro College Fund, you do that to be of service.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Do it to be of service to other students so they can also see, again, there's nothing like a mirror image to see what it is that you can do and what you can become. And when you see, you know, a brother or sister and you're like, dang, I can do that also, it's inspiring and it's inspirational.
How can people get in contact with you in the UNCF?
Okay, you can reach me at on my IG at Stacy Lee 32. That's my maiden name, Lee. I'm a sprat. You know, on IG, you can reach out to me directly. You know, any kind of questions about education, any kind of questions about scholarships, I will be glad to answer.
And United Negro College Fund?
UNCF. UNCF.org. UNCF.org for all information about scholarships, internships, you know, ways to get to and through college. It's all right there at your fingertips.
All right. Well, Stacy Lee Spratt, we appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Charlamagne, say the gang, don't get other Charlamagne.
You are a donkey. It's time for Donkey of the Day.
Donkey of the Day does not discriminate. I might not have the song of the day, but I got the donkey of the day.
So if you ever feel I need to be a donkey, man, hit me with the heat.
Yeah, it's the Breakfast Club, bitches. Who's Donkey of the Day today?
Donkey of the Day goes to Oscar-nominated actress Felicity Huffman. Now, unless you've been fasting from social media for the last few years, then you may not know that Felicity Huffman served some time in prison and completed court-ordered community service because she broke the law. Okay, she pleaded guilty in 2019 to conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. I don't even know what that is. And she served 11 days of a 14-day prison sentence and was ordered to do 250 hours of community service and pay a fine, all because she tried to take a shortcut. And she quickly learned, like most of us learn in life, that there are no shortcuts. If you take shortcuts, you get cut short. Can we flash back to what happened? What caused Felicity to end up in prison? Let's go to ABC News for the report, please.
Actress Felicity Huffman walking out of court today, but not free of prison. The celebrity brushing past cameras with husband and actor William H. Macy moments after she was sentenced to 14 days behind bars. In front of the judge, the prosecutor said, most parents have the moral compass and integrity not to step over the line. The defendant does not. After noting Huffman's fame and wealth several times, the prosecutor said emphatically, there's no paparazzi in prison. Prison is the great equalizer. She must go to prison. After pleading guilty to fraud charges in May, Huffman admitted to paying $15,000 to have her daughter's SAT scores rigged. The judge noting she apologized and accepted guilt early. Then the sentence, 14 days in prison, $30,000 fine, 1 year supervised release, and 250 hours of community service.
She paid $15,000 to have someone falsify the results of her daughter's SAT score. You know what I wonder about this? And I probably could find the answer if I cared enough to look. Her daughter didn't know, right? So I'm sure her daughter studied and prepared for the SAT test. What if her daughter would have passed on her own merit? Was the falsifying of the results just in case she failed? What lack of faith did she have in her daughter that she already knew? Let me go ahead and pay for her to pass because I know she's not too bright. Okay, I've been watching her since she got here. I know she's stupid. All right, my daughter gonna live in the basement for the rest of her life if I don't do something. She might have to join the circus or run for Congress. Same difference. Either way, she ends up being a clown. As a child, I would have all these questions for my mother if she did this to me. I appreciate you going above and beyond, Mom. Actually committing a crime for me to get ahead. But damn, you don't got no faith in my intelligence, okay, and my own abilities to pass this SAT test. Now, Felicity Huffman recently sat with Eyewitness News to speak for the first time about her participation in this scandal and why she did it. Let's go to ABC News for the report, please.
When he slowly started to present the criminal scheme, it seemed like, and I know this seems crazy at the time, that was my only option to give my daughter a future. And I know hindsight is 20/20, but it felt like I would be a bad mother if I didn't do it. So I did it.
Months later, the FBI was at her door.
They came into my home. They woke my daughters up at gunpoint. Again, nothing new to the black and brown community. Then they put my hands behind my back and handcuffed me, and I asked if I could get dressed.
That's what I was thinking.
And I thought it was a hoax. I literally turned to one of the FBI people in a flak jacket and a gun, and I went, "Is this a joke?"
I felt like this was the only option to give my daughter a future. Felicity Huffman's net worth is $45 million. Now, I am a habitual pocket watcher. Okay, I like to know how much money people are making, and I like to know how they're making it. As soon as I heard her make these comments about this was the only option to give my daughter a future, I Googled her net worth because I needed to know why on God's green earth would she feel like her daughter doesn't have a chance at a future. This young woman of privilege will have every single advantage that is provided to a multimillionaire's daughter. Okay, especially a multimillionaire who also has the complexion for the protection and connection. Now listen to me. She is taking penitentiary chances for her daughter because she says she wants to give her daughter a chance, to have a future. If an actress worth $45 million is thinking like that, how the hell do you not understand what people in the hood are going through? Okay, folks from poor and disenfranchised communities aren't even attempting to give their kids a shot at a better future. They're just trying to get their kids an opportunity in the present moment. And that opportunity is usually just the basics. Food, clothing, some shelter right now. Okay, so when black and brown people are out here doing what they got to do to survive, this system should have some understanding, okay? But they never do. They throw black and brown people under the jail for much less. 14 days and a fine for mail fraud. Do you know mail fraud carries a sentence of 20 years in prison? And you have to pay a $250,000 fine and be required to make full restitution. Like Felicity Huffman would have been some sister from a black or brown community. She would have gotten years behind bars for doing what Felicity Huffman did. Guaranteed. But let's talk about the bigger picture. You know how you set your kids up with opportunities to succeed in the future? Mm-hmm. How do you set your kids up with opportunities to succeed in the future? By not letting them skip steps now. Okay? Letting them know that you cannot escape the process. If your daughter takes the SAT and fails, then she just fails. Study. Come back harder next time. That is what life is about. We have to stop coddling these kids, especially in a world where they go on social media and see everybody's highlight reel. Nobody on social media is showing you the process. They're not showing you the times they failed, the times things didn't go their way. I truly believe one of the worst things about so-called cancel culture is that nobody wants to tell you about their mistakes anymore. Everybody wants to play perfect and act like they've always gotten it right. But guess what? Nobody has. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. We say wrong things. We do wrong things. We fall. We get up. We learn. We grow. We move on. We live. And we thank God for always giving us another chance. If we don't allow our kids to fail and learn how to deal with failing, then we are truly hindering their chances of being successful in the future. Felicity, right now, you have an opportunity to teach your kid a tremendous lesson about failure because you failed, but you can't let that failure define you. You have to let it shape you. And right now, your daughter is watching you. The way you handle this is how she is going to learn how to handle failure in the future. And when it comes to stuff like failing a test, please, it's just a test you fail. You take it over. Maya Angelou said it best. Courage allows a successful woman to fail and learn powerful lessons from the failure so that in the end, she didn't fail at all. Our greatest glory in life, kids, is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fail. Please let Chelsea Handler give Felicity Huffman the biggest hee-haw.
Hee-haw, hee-haw. That is way too much Dan mayonnaise.
All right. You know how many stories we've heard of, sisters putting their kids in different area codes or lying about where they live so their kids can go to better schools and then getting actual prison sentences? Mm-hmm. How can we not understand what they were trying to do for their children? But Felicity Huffman get a slap on the wrist for something that has a 20-year sentence.
Yeah.
You know why? Too much goddamn mayonnaise. Okay?
All right. Well, thank you for that donkey today.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's TJ, NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Our guest co-host, Claudia Jordan, is here.
Yes, indeed.
And we got a special guest in the building, Miss Tamika Mallory. Welcome back.
Hey.
How you
Thanks
feeling?
for having me. I'm excited to be here with
Queen
y'all.
Mallory, you got a lot of work that you're doing right now. You got to get the word out about some things.
There's a lot happening. I think, the overall thing that we need to know is that our country is in big trouble, and everybody is going to suffer as a result. But whenever we're in trouble, black folks, brown people, we suffer the most. And
You tried to tell them we're in a state of emergency. You see, you got your book sitting right here.
It is a state of emergency indeed, and it's getting worse. I mean, you and I talk about this all the time. To me, it feels like it's getting worse. I think also because a lot of people are so numb. They don't really want to focus anymore, and that's dangerous because there's just too many things to do, too much to know about, and we just need to be well informed about what we're up against. And I think that, being able to call it what it is, that white supremacy, and white vigilantism is on a rise. And of course, we're dealing with issues within our own community with mental health problems and poverty causing violence. There is it's a tension and a feeling in the country that I'm sure you all feel, and it's really dangerous. It's not a comfortable space, and I don't think it gets better just by us ignoring the problems.
How do you think we get around this fatigue? Because I do notice there was a fatigue, right? It seemed like we were all hands on deck, maybe 2020, in the height of all the George Floyd protests and all that. Everybody seemed like, all right, we on this. And it seemed like everyone just kind of fell off. Not everyone. People like you, thank God for you. But it seemed like there's a lot of fatigue right now. Like people just, I'm tired of hearing about it. And that's dangerous.
People also, first of all, movements always are up and down. They never stay consistent at one pace. It's impossible. People have to get back to their lives. Folks have families and things that they have to do. So that's normal. But there is a fatigue that unfortunately I think doesn't change until people feel so uncomfortable that they have no choice but to get back in the game. And we try to continuously sound the alarm by making sure folks feel like there's a way for them to fit in and get in. But it's not until you start feeling it on your block in your home that it's like, oh, wait a minute, where's the protest, or who am I supposed to be voting for? What am I supposed to do to jump in the fight?
So let's start. A lot of people, they don't necessarily run because a lot of people don't know what's going on. Like we get bombarded with so much in the news, and half the time we don't know what's real or what's fake, what's true, what's false. So what should we be focusing on now? What are you focusing on?
Well, I wrote these things down so that, we could kind of break things into different parts. Okay. In the summer 2020, since you brought that up, a lot of corporations were talking about their commitment to diversity. That was a whole thing. In fact, corporations made pledges for millions and millions, probably billions of dollars. And certainly we've not seen that in the movement and across all spectrums of areas where marginalized communities need support. Most companies have either gone away, they what do you call it, out of sight, out of mind.
Correct, yeah.
And then some did a few things, and of course we can't ignore that the recent news on Black Lives Matter has certainly helped people find a way to say, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't be given to those causes, which, we talk all the time about how I call bullshit on a lot of it. Nonetheless, it has been an issue. It is an issue. And so one thing I have been focused on is calling corporations back to the table. And I've been working specifically on a company called Panini. And people are like, how did you get in sports and trading cards, sports memorabilia and trading cards? Like, where did that come from? But I often remind people that every case we get involved with, we find out from the people. People call us. They call us and say there's a police brutality incident. They say something happened in the jail. That's how we got in Parchment prisons. Which shout out to our family at Rock Nation and Team Rock, because we work to really make change in Parchment. And I'm sure people in Parchment are probably like, what change? It's still slow coming, but we did work with the local community in Mississippi to make some change there. But this all comes from people calling us, elected officials, concerned citizens. scary folks that's like, don't tell nobody, it's my, that I called.
Right.
But somebody hit me up and was like, hey, you should check out what's going on at this company, Panini. They have 75% of their trading cards and their talent, if you will, black athletes, black and brown, but primarily black athletes. A $3 billion company with no senior executives that are black people. Not even one. So when we found it out, we were like, okay, well, first of all, maybe we don't know. Maybe they just didn't put them on the website. We gonna see. And we sent a letter to Panini. It took them a while to get back to us until it started to pick up in the media, especially after we sent letters to the NFL and the NBA and the Players Associations and all the others asking, why are you partnering with these folks or allowing them to use your talent? It's basically our people being exploited.
Why this specific company, though? Because there's a bunch of billion-dollar companies that don't have black people in the C-suite. So why this specific company?
Well, we've had similar conversations over the years with Walmart, with Verizon, and in fact, with Verizon, we went to them around Colin Kaepernick. To ask them why would they continue to sponsor and, be partners with the NFL, knowing what was happening to Colin. So we find reasons to approach corporations all the time about their commitments or their said commitments to our communities. And from my perspective, black folks in this moment, they need jobs. Like they need jobs, they need opportunities, they need a seat at the table, right? And, some people say, well, entrepreneurship. Yeah, but while you're building, because all of us here are entrepreneurs, but we got jobs too.
Does Panini feel that since they're giving so much money away to students and especially college athletes, I know they do a lot with NIL deals, that because they're doing that, they necessarily don't have to because they feel like we're giving the community money?
Well, they didn't say that, but from our perspective, no. Like at Until Freedom, our perspective is regardless of how much you give away, you're just doing what you're supposed to do.
So what kind of action plans would you like to see Panini do to correct this lack of diversity? What would you like to see?
Yeah, so first of all, they need to have an advisory committee of individuals from our communities that can help them look at the diversity issues.
It's actually been amazing, the dip in what we see. I really felt like there was actually some type of effort being made. Seems like they're not even giving a damn anymore what it looks like publicly anymore.
Well, just on that point, when we did the research to find at every company, we sent letters. By companies, I'm talking about the leagues and the Players Associations. We sent letters to the CEO. We also went to look for the diversity person, right? Because most companies have somebody. And we found that most of those people were hired in 2020. Like all the different leagues, their diversity person came on board around 2020 and was well celebrated by the company. So that just goes to show you that movements work. That's first of all, that, for those people who think movements don't work, it actually provided opportunities for some of our people. And I'm sure, depending on who the black person is in that seat, there's more happening within the community. But there's so much more that can be done. And that means that the movement can't stop because the job is not complete.
Are they getting to actually be able to work, or is it one of those things where we're hiring them just for the face, but they're not actually being able to contribute?
Well, you know what? I don't know. And I'm sure there's a little bit of all of that happening, because I know several diversity folks in different companies, and some of them are frustrated. Others feel like they're really being supported. So I think it's a mixture of that, but we don't know until, unfortunately, issues start to come up and you start asking questions. That's the reason why we have to have different examples. So Panini becomes an example which says to other companies they might be coming my way. Let me try to get my stuff together.
All right, we got more with Tamika Mallory. When we come back, don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our co-host Claudia Jordan here, and we're kicking it with Tamika Mallory. Claudia,
you're on the front lines. Do you ever get discouraged?
Hell yeah.
And do you ever feel like, what am I doing?
I get more than discouraged. Yeah. I get pretty nasty about it. I send text messages in the middle of the night, like saying words, bad words.
So where's your motivation come from on those days when, we see the wins, right?
Yeah.
But there's the days where you probably...
I don't know about the wins.
Well...
Wins are... I'm not...
Progress.
Yeah, progress. A little bit of progress. A little bit of progress. Because wins, I don't feel like I'm there yet, And whatever. Some people would argue that we should be careful not to appreciate the things we've been able to accomplish, and which we have many things. But I think my I always say that my investment in this movement is very selfish. It's not like, oh, I'm doing it because of the other children and the other people. It's my own family, like me. You know, I want to be able to drive and feel comfortable and walk around in society and not be treated differently or othered. I want my son to be protected. And now I have a grandchild, you know, and here this is a young girl or a baby who's going to grow up in this society. What is it going to look like? I don't want to leave here with people saying like, well, what did you do to contribute? And I'm over here pointing at, oh, well, they did. Right. No, we have a responsibility. And I think that's where when I get up, and some days, Claudia, it's turned into a situation where I go to bed like, I promise you I will not do else for these people because of all this stress that I go through, the attacks, the lies, the this and that. I'd be like, that's it. And then I'd be like, which people? Our people? Like in the morning when I wake up, I'm like, let me go to work because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Calling on your life is something.
Talk to us about Ajika Owens.
Boy, I tell you what. I was on a conference call last night with Angela Rye and Amanda Seals and Alicia Garza, Ben Crump, everybody, Jeff Johnson, the names go on and on, all the people. Christy Henderson was the coordinator of it. And first of all, the brilliance in this movement. Oh, wow. To be on that call, I just wish it could be taped so everybody could see the thoughts and the people working together to try to help get justice for this woman's family. What happened to her it seems to be very clear. At least it's clear to me. And, you know, Crump, before he gets in, Attorney Crump, before he gets involved in things, he kind of knows what happened for the most part. So it appears that the neighbor was a menace already. Like she had been harassing.
This is the story you gave the lady Donka today too, right?
Yes.
No. We just talked about Ted.
We talked about it this morning with Ted.
Talked about this morning.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it seems that she had already been harassing the children and people in the community. And this particular day, the kids were playing next door, which you guys probably already discussed. But you know, the kids were playing next door in a field, and she thinks she owns the field. So she's neighborhood Karen. She thinks she owns the field. She tells them when to come and go. The iPad was still in the field when the young man noticed it. All the kids were inside. He noticed his iPad was there. He ran out to go get it. She already had it. Somewhere along the line, he approached her to get the iPad, and she hit him with something. And called him the N-word.
What ages were the kids? Do you know?
Well, this young man, the young boy is 9. And AJ, as they affectionately call her, AJ Owens, she has 4 children, and so I think the youngest one is 2.
Okay.
And so he went and got Mama, and Mama came back to talk to the woman, get the iPad, probably ask, you know, why did you hit my child, all of that. And the woman shot her through the door. Shot her through the door and killed her. I mean, period. You know, and to add insult to injury, which is very similar to what happened to Jordan Neely, or at least what happened to Daniel Perry, the man who killed Jordan Neely, is this thing where you can just go down to the precinct, they ask you a few questions, and then you just white, and they say, okay, you can go home after you've killed somebody.
Right.
It is amazing that it's like, do you mind coming in and talking to us?
Yeah, we just want to ask you for formality.
And let you go home.
And then
don't release her name.
Well, yeah, they didn't release her name, but we know what it is. Her name is Susan Lawrence.
Thank you.
I believe that's her name, Susan Lawrence. And, you know, again, people in the neighborhood know her. But let me just say, on the issue of people getting to go home.
Did she call 911 at all? So she didn't call 911 until after she shot.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because, you know, usually it's self-defense, and if the door was closed,
if the door is closed,
there was no way that she felt like her life was in danger.
I mean, you gotta, come on.
And she'll try to stand your ground, of course.
It's a lot of things that I think they're going to try to use. I think they're going to have a mental illness thing. They're going to try a lot of things.
So
but
white people are the only people that are allowed to be mentally ill? Because with us, we don't get that grace.
No, we don't. But let me say that one of the things I want to make sure we mention is that this is not a new issue or a new concern. If you think about Emmett Till and other cases of the past. There was a time when white people could literally decide that you made them feel uncomfortable or you committed some criminal act. They didn't have to be in law enforcement. They could decide your punishment, kill you, whatever they want to do, and there was no consequences for it. So we're going backwards to a time when that is now a thing again, that you just go on downtown and tell Billy Bob, Officer Billy Bob, everything was cool. You know, I just shot me a nigga today. That's it. And of course, I hope we understand, not to say that it's okay when it happens to men, because we fight for black men all the time. Our entire movement has been focused on black men. But now they're killing black women, which brings us to Breonna Taylor. Shout out to Breonna Taylor and her family. Look, happy birthday. She would have been 30 years old, man. 30 years old. A young, beautiful life taken. Her boyfriend, Kenny Walker, thankfully the charges that the officer had against him have been dropped. So he's now free and clear to live his life. But yesterday, I don't know when this is,
that's the case with Stand Your Ground worked for a black person, right?
Yeah. What?
In Kenny Walker case?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Kinda. Yes. And yes. Yes.
They charged him at first, but then they eventually
charged him, but they dropped it. They never admitted it. That's the point.
Gotcha.
Nobody ever said that he had the right to do what he did or whatever, but he did, right? And I think that they dropped the charges for a different reason, which is because they don't want to have to go to court and lay out the details.
Gotcha.
They're trying to push it, sweep it under the rug. Gotcha. It would make them have to do too much. So, but anyway, so the Attorney General in Kentucky, y'all talked about this
Daniel
before.
Cameron.
His name is Daniel Cameron. This man was responsible for the prosecution of the officers. He was responsible for finding justice, right, as the Attorney General, because the local government decided that they didn't want to try the case. It was too close with the police department and the local DAs and whatever. So they pushed it to the Attorney General. First of all, Daniel Cameron is a cop lover. He has videos out there talking about how he will defend police and law enforcement until the end, and he will do whatever is necessary to stand with police. So he had the case and had a grand jury impaneled, which they went and they presented a case to the grand jury. Of course, and which is what we fight against, the grand jury proceedings being secret. That's a problem because you don't know what's happening. You don't know what they're presenting, what the witnesses are, what's going to happen. So the grand jury comes back and returns their decision, which is to charge one officer with shooting through the wall, and that could have hurt the people on the other side. It didn't, but it could have. And so that charge was called wanton endangerment, and that's what the person was indicted on. They never came back with any charges about Breonna Taylor being murdered. We're about to knock on doors until November. We're going to put ads up on TV. We're going to make sure that everybody, lottie-dottie and everybody knows about Daniel Cameron and what he did to Breonna Taylor.
All right, when we come back, we have more with Tamika Mallory. Don't move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got our co-host Claudia Jordan here, and we're kicking it with Tamika Mallory. Charlamagne?
How do you protect yourself in situations like that? Go post up in Kentucky and go against this guy who's got a massive support in Kentucky. How do you protect yourself?
Well, first of all, we have security 24 hours a day, which is important. But, security is not necessarily able to stop some crazy person from driving a car through the window of your office or whatever. So
are y'all being set up? You know what I mean? That's stuff like that.
But before we even get to the point of physical harm, just watch. You're going to be like, you got to come back and talk about this. They're going to have articles out in a minute about everything we ever did wrong, who paperwork ain't right, what organization did this, which is why I don't like to get into a back and forth about whether or not somebody bought a house in BLM. I don't like to get into that because I know what that conversation is all about. And I know who it benefits for us to get stuck in that. They want to discredit our movement so that they can make sure that nobody donates to Tamika Mallory either. We all criminals.
But
we
you're
all
not BLM
frauds.
though.
Of course I'm not.
Yeah.
We said that on this show so many times. But you're right. Repetition matters. Yeah. I'm not in the organization Black Lives Matter. But I'm just saying that I've seen this movie before. Mm-hmm. This is not the first time. They actually don't do anything new. They repeat the same script over and over again. It's just that there are new players involved, so you think you in something new. Mm-hmm. But they literally have intentionality right now around discrediting our movement. It doesn't mean you shouldn't ask questions. There should be no accountability. That's not what we're talking about. But when we start going down that rabbit hole, there's a reason why they want us to stay there. And so what will happen is that in the next couple of weeks, especially if Daniel Cameron feels like our movement is a danger to him, you'll start hearing who slept with who, Johnny, shot somebody when he was 12, who went to prison. That's what they're going to do to try to discredit the people locally and nationally who will be there fighting him. But despite it all, we're going to be there.
We have to stop eating that up, though. We're so quick to be, I knew it was a scam, and we have to stop being so skeptical of each other.
Yep.
Because I saw that happening in real. I'm like, but
there are scams. There are scams. Mm-hmm. And guess what? White people run them every day.
That's right. But they don't. I feel like they don't I feel like they air their laundry like we do sometimes.
No. You will never see. Like, I give you an example. The women's movement, right? They got all kinds. I know we were in it, right? In the women's march, we were in it.
Y'all started
we was in. We were leaders of the women's march. We know all about the stuff that goes on internally, but you don't know who's about people's salaries. You don't know how much they make in these major women's organizations and other organizations that have, or social cause organizations that have people that don't look like us. You tell me what's their salary. It doesn't come up. You don't know what house they have, where they live, how much money they spent. And if there is an issue, they deal with it internally. When it became public that there was a fight, which wasn't even about money, it was because it was women of color at the helm of it. So we just have to be aware of that. That does not mean that you don't have the right to say, I gave $100, $200,000, whatever it is, and I want to know what is being done with my resources. I'm not telling people not to ask those questions. I'm saying that what we see going on right now is not about asking questions. It is about creating a dissension campaign or whatever against our movement as a whole. And yeah, I'm not in BLM at all. I have nothing to do with the money, never received a dime. In fact, I asked them for $1 million and I'm still waiting on somebody to respond. So I this is not about that. But I also am clear that I don't get to separate myself from this whole movement, because I know my organization raised $3 million when BLM received $90 million. So that's why we asked for $1 million, which is not even enough, because we was in the street in the summer of 2020, and we know that people went on their phone and said, I'm not going to look for a particular name. I'm just going to give money to BLM. So I feel they owe me money. Right? I think they have some of my money. So we asked for $1 million. But I understand that this movement, everything that happens, there are implications for all of us. If something happened with you, NB, I've been watching you for the last few days. I talked to you. You know what I'm saying? It impacts everybody that's close to you. That's just what it is. So I just want to put that message out there. Be careful what you allow yourself to get dragged into.
How can people donate if they want to donate
to Until Freedom?
Yes, absolutely.
Child, we need y'all to donate so bad. Lord have mercy. You can donate to Until Freedom by going to untilfreedom.com, which is the safest, best way to get us donations. But of course, if you want a Cash App and Venmo and all of that, we're Until Freedom. Spell it properly, because people have whichever is the right way to say it, our name, colonized our name, and they put one extra E, one the L's or whatever. And so a lot of our donations were going to these other accounts. So Until Freedom, UNTILFREEDOM, on all platforms you can give.
And did we get everything on the notepad?
I think so. Let me see. Oh, Cop City.
Wow.
So Cop City, for folks quickly, is in Atlanta. Basically, Cop City is a place that is being designed to train police officers from around the country. So in DeKalb County, Andre Dickens, the mayor, is creating a city. And by the way, people want me to mention that this was not his plan. It came from Governor Kemp and Keisha Lance Bottoms, and then he had the ability to keep it going or to cancel the project. So they are building this facility. That is what they're going to say. It's all first responders. There's going to be people there from, firefighters. They're going to have... There's an element that cannot be ignored, and that is the police training that will take place in the facility, and that is a problem. The Police Association, I think that's their name, excuse me if I got it wrong, they are the ones that's coordinating the whole space. And so the resources that the city council approved are to lease space for the responders and others to be trained. But the policing situation is the main focus of the facility.
Why would Keisha Lance Bottoms or Andre Dickens want it?
Well, because elected officials, they get nervous. And so when they start feeling the pressure from the governor and all these people, because a lot of our folks don't understand what true public safety looks like. We've been taught that public safety is locking people up. But the police exist now. There's police all over Chicago, and still there was 50-something people shot Memorial Weekend.
That's right.
So policing is clearly not solving the problem. So we see what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it is intentionally being ignored, and they are fattening the pockets of the policing system and then not even giving true accountability measures to keep people accountable. You cannot train racism and white supremacy. You can't out-train it. You have to convict it. You have to lock it up, and you have to give it consequences so that people will know I could be as racist as I want at my kitchen table, but I can't take that to work.
Right.
Tamika Mallory is her name, man. Make sure y'all support our good sister Tamika Mallory.
Absolutely.
Donate to Untel Freedom. That's Untel Freedom.
Yes.
Subscribe to her podcast, Street Politicians with the good brother Myson, and pick up her book, State of Emergency.
Thank you.
Thank
You did all this stuff.
That's right.
My brother Myson, he was just up here.
That's right.
That's right. Love y'all.
Tamika Mallory, it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Your mornings will never be the same.